Companies are abandoning Australia Day. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag not sponsored cheap coffee and let's look at this article about companies abandoning Australia Day. Oh no guys, it's all coming to an end. I mean, who could have thought that companies want people to work on public holidays and maybe not pay them those public holiday rates? What do you think? That sounds perfectly fair, guys. Let's see. I mean, I've only ever employed people. It's been so long since I've actually been an employee and gotten any of these perks that, you know, whoop-de-doo, good on you, good on you. Take advantage of it while you can. I always hated paying for public holidays. I remember when my wife explained to me how it works with employees, how they accrue holiday time while they're on holiday, and I didn't believe it. I called up the accountant and they said, yeah, that's how it works out. When they're on holiday, they get holiday time. So all the boys were giving me shit going, oh, I can't wait to go on this holiday and accrue more holiday time. It just pissed me off, it did. Anyway, more and more Australia's biggest companies are giving the employees the opportunity to ditch the Australia Day public holiday. This is where reality will hit, where all this talk about people being offended by Australia Day, oh, it's an invasion, all this other bullshit will go out the window when you got to go to work. Okay, this is where reality hits. This is where we see if people are just talking bullshit or if they're actually going to go to work and not get paid for a public holiday rate. If you get paid for a public holiday rate, then you can't complain about Australia Day. You're supporting it. Okay, you need to work for your normal rate without the public holiday pay. Maybe donate that to some charity, that extra and above, and do the work. Otherwise, well, you're just one of these dirty, evil people that supports Australia Day, I guess. I think, it's all of this stuff is just too political. I mean, it should be about unifying Australians together. That should be the aim of our culture. You know, cultures should merge together and they change and evolve over time. We don't keep them all separate. You don't want to constantly prattle on about things in the past that are no longer relevant. But I guess, you know, that's this outdated view, huh? They don't teach us like they taught us in the 80s anymore. More Australian companies have greenlit policies which mean employees can choose to work on Australia Day public holiday. Yeah, but are they getting paid the public holiday rate? Staff at Telstra and Woodside Energy can now choose whether to take the 26th of January as a public holiday or work throughout the day. Yeah, I mean, I would have, back in my day, when I was doing casual jobs or woolies or whatever, I would have happily worked on Australia Day, particularly when I was younger, to earn the extra money. It's like why people like working on Sundays to get the Sunday rates. Speaking to the publication, a Telstra spokesperson said employees could work on Australia Day and take another day off on another day. Okay, are you kidding? So they could work on Australia Day and get another day off. This is. Hey, I mean, good on them if they want that flexibility. That's flex time. No problem with it. Let them let people do that. In small business, you normally have that type of flexibility if you can. At least in architecture you do, hopefully. There's a bit of give and take. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. But if people are making a political statement, they shouldn't take the other day off. You know, if they're politically opposed to it, if they're one of these idiots that say, oh, it's Invasion Day, Australia's horrible, I hate Australia, then they shouldn't get a public holiday at all. They should probably work for free to the company to thank them for giving them opportunity in this horrible country. The flexibility is built into the enterprise agreements our employees voted on earlier this year. A similar approach has also been implemented by a major financial services firm like Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst Young, creative agencies. Yeah, so everyone's pretty much doing it. Channel 10. Historically, the 26th of January signifies the day Sir Arthur Phillip arrived in Sydney Cove in 1788 and marks the beginning of British colonialisation in Australia, or colonisation. However, sovereignty was never ceded by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Did they even have the concept of that? And which people? Which people? Which tribe? You know, there's a lot of them. You know, were they all unified? No, they weren't. They were fighting. I mean, see, this is the thing. People don't seem to realize, or I guess they neglect to realize this has happened all over the world. You just look at Europe. Look at all the dead languages in Europe and all the people that don't exist and the nations that don't exist. A growing disapproval of the Australia Day public holiday has also seen the date termed as Invasion Day or Survival Day, with the public holiday marked by celebrations of Indigenous culture, protests and rallies to abolish the date. I wonder how much of those protests and rallies are indirectly funded by government bureaucrats or, either government civil service jobs where people don't have, they're not really contributing, or welfare. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. I'd be interested to see. I mean, look at every politician that's Greens. They build their whole career on this. Just divide, creating division, not unity. You want unity. Maybe we don't. Maybe they want to disenfranchise Australians and not bring them together. So divide for political gain. This week, the Australian revealed that Channel 10 sent out a company-wide email which stated the January 26 will no longer be referred to as Australia Day. What? I guess go woke, go broke. I mean, it's Channel 10. Who the hell watches normie TV anymore? This stuff's all going to die out with the boomers. I haven't had an aerial plugged in since before university. When I moved out of home to university, I had not even bothered with a TV aerial. The only time my children know old school television is when they visit my parents. There you go. They're spoiled. They're used to watching like an entire season when it comes out on Disney Plus or YouTube. Co-leads of Paramount Australia and New Zealand, Beverly McGravey and Jared Viliani, said staff are not required to take the day off and acknowledged the turbulent history of the date for First Nations peoples. For our First Nations peoples, we as an organisation acknowledge that January 26th is not a day of celebration, the email read. We recognise that January 26th evokes different emotions for our employees across the business, and we are receptive to employees who do not feel comfortable taking this day as a public holiday. Whether you choose to work on January 26th or take the public holiday, we ask that you reflect and respect the different perspectives and viewpoints of all Australians. Yes, but how much of them are doctored? You'll see people will push all these arguments based on very tenuous historical evidence. I mean, I've looked at them, and we've done videos on them here on the channel, where people are making claims about a apparent massacre, and then you go back to the history, and there's no evidence for it. It's just hearsay. And this is the thing, you're going to constantly find, if you want to make something terrible about a day, you can find information to do it. You can make something up to do it. You can justify something to do it. It's not saying that the colonisation of Australia didn't lead to conflicts between different groups of people. But don't you want to be stepping forward, not focusing on the past? On how maybe we need to focus on some of the issues that are not being addressed here in Australia. The fact that we've got a whole bunch of people calling for the establishment of a voice in Parliament, it shows you how incompetent our current politicians are, how incompetent all the civil servants are. This is just a mess, isn't it? This is all just done for political reasons and political gain. I'm just too cynical now. I was talking to a gentleman at church. He thinks Albanese is going to be worse than Whitlam, and I think he's right. The Albanese government makes a big January 26 change. Early this month, the Albanese government also declared that citizenship ceremonies could be held on the 3 days on either side of January 26. This comes after former Prime Minister Scott Morrison enacted a rule which forced local governments to hold citizenship ceremonies on January 26th or bypass the ceremony entirely. I mean, here's the thing. Here's an honest question. We saw during the lockdowns, during the border closures, what did your citizenship mean? If you were an expat Australian and wanting to get home, what did it mean? Bugger all, didn't it? They didn't give a shit about you. What does it mean? What, you can be a citizen of a country where if you're young, you're going to struggle to ever afford a house. Yeah, they'll just change the rules whenever they see fit. You're forced to lock your money away until you're old. You don't have any of the freedoms as previous generations. They're sapping away your rights more and more, all for the greater good. Electricity is going to get more expensive. Wow, I shouldn't be going down this dark path. Australia's still bloody good. I mean, what we're going to have is we're going to have one term of Albanese. It's going to go to shit. Power's going to get more expensive. We're going to get all this useless woke crap that isn't going to achieve anything. You're going to get all these different bureaucracies and bullshit implemented. And then in a few years' time, people will start to realize, the young will have grown up a little bit. They might actually have to pay taxes and move out of their parents' houses. And then you'll vote them out. Then you have another decade of bloody, probably the Liberals. And then they'll run it to shit. But, it'll be a little bit less woke, hopefully. Immigration Minister Andrew Giles announced the change and told SBS that holding the ceremony on a non-public holiday would also be more cost-effective for the government. Come on. Australian, what if someone has to work and they can miss out on going to their ceremony? That's the point of it. I guess have it on the weekend, eh? But no, they can't. Australian citizenship is an important common bond for all Australians. I thought it was home ownership, whether by birth or by choice, and lies at the heart of unified, cohesive and inclusive Australia, he said. The government's priority is to ensure that where people have made the choice to become Australian citizens, they are afforded the opportunity in their own communities with friends and family in a timely way. The move also comes as one Melbourne council announced they will be scrapping the January 26th ceremony unless it was held on a day that is inclusive of everyone. The Marybeck City Council Mayor Angela Panopoulos said they welcomed the new initiative. We are grateful that the federal government will allow us and all councils to listen to our communities and make decisions that are right for us when scheduling citizenship ceremonies in January. We will always listen to traditional owners and our First Nation community about matters that are important to them. January 26 is a painful day for many in our community and isn't the right date to celebrate. Well, our country wouldn't exist without that date, so let's have it. Do people really think that if European colonization didn't occur, Australia would be like it is today? Do they really think that would be possible? You've got a harsh desert climate where people managed to survive on this slither of this country. There's a reason why their technological progress stagnated, why they were at a Neolithic or barely Neolithic level, because it's bloody hard to live here. Do people just not know history? I guess we don't teach history. They don't study history. They don't look at it. They think the whole world is just some nice fairy tale. Are they falling for the noble savage myths? Is that what they're falling for? They think life was good in Australia before European settlers. Do you think there was no conflict, no starvation, no requirement for cannibalism? Do you think there's any different here in primitive Australia as opposed to primitive Europe? The only advantage Europe had was the climate. In some regards, the climate sucked. But you also had more competition and more technology, and it was a center for trade. Here we're on the edge of the world. I don't know. I mean, each to their own. Take the day off, don't take the day off. But it's just getting sadly political, isn't it? I mean, that's what it is. I get the feeling this is just for political purposes. And we're not going to move forward. It's going to be more and more division. That's all it will be. That's probably the Australia for the next couple of years. There's going to be more division between different groups. You talk to normal people on the streets. I wonder how many normies actually give a shit about this stuff. It's just the activists. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International. And if you're a fan and you want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy a Pocket Squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.